Um, God direct my life in a lot of ways because I was supposed to do this message last month, and Reverend Maynard said he was going to have a procedure done, and he thought he wasn't going to be here, and he came that Sunday and said, "Thank you, Jesus." And so I didn't have to do it that Sunday, and I thought we had put off. I didn't know he was going on vacation, but he still had that in mind, and I was staying up here on one Sunday, so I guess that was God. And I tried to obey what God directed me to do. My message last month was something totally different, and I don't know how I got this one, but it came to me, who do you say I am? And there's several things that happened to bring it to me. Every morning, I started off for Lent, and I have shared it with some of you because I'm going to some meeting, I'm coming to church. I got on this morning. When I got on, it said, ding, put your number in. It said, you're the only one on the line. It was 5 minutes to 7. I was the only one on there listening to the music. God direct this. Trust me, He will direct your life. And I'm going to tie this into what we're talking about. Who do you say I am? But God directed that. And when the first one come on, my sister was a prayer host today. Different people do it, not me, but different people do the prayer host. My sister came on this morning, and the first thing she said, who do we have on the line? I said, Brigham Street, Pontiac, Michigan. And she just went into it. And what happened last night was the people who work with him were sharing with these young people their life story, which I didn't know. But I knew that he had been incarcerated, and now he's working his mother in this restaurant and doing very well, and has changed his life around. But as the other people share their story, they had a similar story that they were telling these young people about what happened to them in their life and what they thought their life was about, and how somebody spent almost 30-some years in prison, and he was working at Sweetie Pie. I was like 18 years. And if you ever get a chance to go back and see that series, it's an eye-opener, because some of the things that you brought out this morning about young people, Pat, I'm very proud of your grandson. And we need more like him to get some. Now, you think you're going to sit there and go to sleep on him, but you're not. And I'm looking at your eyeballs. You're still going to sleep. I'm going to save this time. What I have for you to do right now, and just take a few minutes. Listen at my direction. Ask the person next to you, if you're comfortable, who do you say I am? Now you can do it one of 3 ways. You can ask the person. They can tell you, they can just say amen. If they're not comfortable, or you can close your eyes and ask your conscience, who do you say I am? Or you can meditate over the question. Give it a few minutes. Ask someone, who do you say I am? He can't ask the wise men, because they brought gifts and all kinds of stuff. He was a baby. And he can't track down the wise men like some of us would do. Who do you say I am? You brought all these gifts to me. You brought frankincense and myrrh and all this stuff. Who do you say I am? You came and found me. I'm good for you. Or he could have asked John the Baptist. But it was interesting. In Matthew 3:13-17 talks about Jesus' encounter with John the Baptist. Jesus told John the Baptist to baptize him. I remember Isaiah talked about a voice in the desert. And it was identified that John the Baptist must have been that voice in the desert that would be preaching about the coming. So Jesus told John the Baptist to baptize him. I remember Isaiah talked about a voice in the desert. And it was identified that John the Baptist must have been that voice in the desert that would be preaching about the coming. So, but when John the Baptist was preaching, he was preaching about asking for forgiveness for your sins and a change of heart. And when Jesus came and actually baptized, John the Baptist looked at him and said, I'm not the one. You should be baptizing me. So if Jesus said, who do you think I am? Who do you say I am? John the Baptist seemed to be very, very aware of who he was. And he said, so John the Baptist said to him why he felt he wasn't qualified to baptize him, but that wasn't what God wanted to do. And as Jesus came out the water, the confirmation was made. God made the confirmation, who do you say I am? God told him. That was just a confirmation. Then Jesus was led to the desert for 40 days. Now, in your mind, you think that old Satan knew who Jesus was. Jesus can say, who do you say I am? I'm out here for 40 days with you. You're trying to get me to do all these things. He could have asked the devil or Satan, who do you say I am? Maybe that was not important. Change your heart and live, because the kingdom of heaven is coming. Those words were as true then as it is today. Change your heart and live, because the kingdom of heaven is coming. So what did Jesus do next? He began to pick up his followers. Now, all of us want somebody to follow us. Some people can think that they want to be alone. Even the person sitting on the street wants somebody to follow them. Everybody wants someone to follow them regardless of what their situation is. But Jesus' purpose of his followers was because it was led by God. Then he began his ministry with his followers. He began teaching. He began his ministry with his followers. He began teaching with parables. He began preaching, healing, performing miracles, and answering questions. This was his ministry. This is what, after 40 days, this is what he was directed to do. And he did it well. Now there's another, all the people he had healed and touched, he could have said after he finished, who do you say I am? Even the man with the unclean spirit, Mark 24 through 26, Mark 1, 24 through 26. The man with the unclean spirit said, Jesus of Nazareth, you are the Holy One. Jesus just said quietly to the evil spirit, be quiet. Come out of that man. This was Jesus' mission. Everybody around here was just so surprised. He could have asked, and he told him who he was. You're the Holy One. But Jesus didn't ask to say, who do you say I am? It just came out. And people witnessed what happened to this person with the unclean spirit. As Jesus continued his ministry of healing, teaching, preaching, answering questions, there was a lot of questions. There was a lot of doubt. Who is this coming here doing all of this, saying this, it should be this way and not that way? And Jesus told them, I'm not coming to change the law. The law. Whether they understood that or not. Then, Mark 8, 27, 38, which Clark read to you, it was about Jesus' trip into Caesarea. And now he asked a question. Who do the people say I am? And it's not because he knew who he was, but after all this preaching and teaching and sharing and answering questions, Jesus had a mission. He was getting ready to leave here. It's just like me when I was teaching school. And that time June came, it's like I want to know who he was. But after all this preaching and teaching and sharing and answering questions, Jesus had a mission. He was getting ready to leave here. It's just like me when I was teaching school. And that time June came, I want to know what did I do? Was something worthwhile done in that classroom? was there some learning taking place, not for me, but for the students who I had to reach out to. Are they going to be able to go to the next grade level and let what I taught them be impacted by what I had done in that classroom or what they have learned? All of this was a learning experience for not just for his disciples, but it's a learning experience for everybody around him. And the reason why he has trickled out to us in 2000, and they have a word for us to continue to read, to continue to impact our lives. So when Jesus asked the question, he said, the people say, you John the Baptist. Others say you Elijah. And others say you one the prophet. And we go back. We go back to our experiences. They went back to the experiences. These are people who have been learning the law, knew about the prophets, and knew their history. So they were bringing back the knowledge they knew, because this was all new to them. This was totally out of the box, as people would say. Who do you say I am? Who do people say I am? But Peter said, you are the Christ. You are the Christ. Well, guess what happened? Jesus said, you're not to reveal that to anyone else. I just want to see if my lessons have been reaching you. It was not the time for them to go around shouting, Christ is here. Don't you see the Christ, the Messiah has come? That's not what Jesus wanted to do. He just wanted to see if they were on the right page. But Jesus began to teach them. They were great. People were ready to say, you are the Christ. Whatever that meant to him. Well, let's see what happened next. Jesus began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer many things, and that he was rejected by the Jewish elders, the leading priests, and the teachers of the law. He told them all the things they went around with him, all the miracles they saw. He explained that to them. He told them what was going to happen. Jesus told them plainly what would happen. Peter, who just said, you are the Christ. But now Peter said, he took Jesus on the side, man, don't talk like that. You don't have to talk like that. And you find yourself doing that. When somebody's going to tell you something that might happen, you say, when the doctor tell you that you're sick, some people do this. Your loved one is going to make a transition. I don't want to hear that. There's some people want to tell it, want to get their family together, not because they're sick, they want to get their family together. That's not for my ears. I don't want to deal with that. And that's what Peter was. But Peter had a journey with Christ. And he didn't want that to end. Because if that ended, then he has to step forward. Now, we're good at following somebody and letting them take over. But when I say not here, you're going to take over this computer class. Oh, I'm not ready yet. I don't know how to do it. Or when I say you're going to make your own video take care of, I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, right.
It's good when you're following somebody. But sometimes that's going to stop. And that's happened with Peter. That had to stop. And Jesus was trying to warn him and tell him that this is what's going to happen. So what did Peter? He said, Jesus turned and looked at his followers. Then he told Peter not to talk away. He said, get away from me, Satan. You don't care about the things of God, but only about the things important to people. That's when we let our earthly life come in. And we forget about our godly life. Okay? Because we know there's going to be a better place. As people say, heaven is my home. Mr. Smith, I think he used to say that. But I don't know if I'm ready to get there yet. that was the idea. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. But be ye ever so ready. Right? It may be any day. Ready yet. I'm not ready yet. But be ye ever so ready. Right? It may be any day. Jesus also, he didn't just stop there. He called a crowd to him and among his followers, and he gave them some more lessons. If people want to follow me, they must give up things they want. I like that hat. You look cute on me today. And don't take anything off this head of mine. Those who want to live, but you better be willing to live to follow me, to give up something. And it's not all bad, okay? Those who give up their lives for me, Jesus said, it is worthless to have the whole world and lose your soul. They could never pay enough to buy their souls. People were living as in the sinful time as we are today. So we got to keep on asking for forgiveness. Sometimes we got to do one of these things so it won't come out. Now, even though it's up here, at least it'll come out. If people are ashamed of my teaching, the Son of Man will be ashamed of them when he comes to his Father's glory. Right. And with those angels. Now I want to explain something also to you. The whole time of this journey, from Mary and Joseph, there was always angels around to direct. From Mary and Joseph, there was always angels around to direct the path. Even with Jesus, there was angels. When he went in the wilderness for 40 days, there was angels around. There's angels around you, if you believe. And if you think about your life, if you think about who you are, and if you're in this world are following, you know there's angels that touch you when you least expect it. So why do you need to ask the question, who do you say I am? And who would you ask? Your parents? Your family? Your friends? A stranger? A co-worker? You could even ask your enemy. Because sometimes the people you think are your enemy will tell you the truth. Why would you think that your enemy will tell you the truth? Why would you ask somebody? I asked you to ask somebody next to you. And you may ask your mate, you may ask a friend, you may ask just ask somebody. Or you may just ask yourself. The reason why you may want to ask the question, who do you say I am? Because it may reflect your life if you're really truly a Christian. We can all claim to be a Christian. Oh, Lord, I follow Christ. I do this and that. We all can say that. But as we said sometime, and I hope it's not St. John, as we said sometime, can you find a Christian in St. John? They need to ask, who do you think of it? I have known some downright Christians. At least they said they were. And they had been so evil in how they treat others. But that's not for me to judge. That's what God said, okay? It would help to see how other people see you. It is important. Because if you want to make disciples for Jesus Christ, you have to look like a disciple. My friend of mine used to say, Muhammad said he would have been a Christian until he met one. Okay, some people got it. Okay. It may make a difference because you have to look like a disciple. My friend of mine used to say, Muhammad said he would have been a Christian until he met one. Okay, some people got it. Okay. It may make a difference because you are confident about who you are. Jesus did not ask that question because he did not know who he was. Because as he was traveling with the disciples and wanted to make certain they understood what the ministry they had to do. We have to be in constant prayer with God in answering this question. We have to be in constant prayer. Who do you say I am? We have to be in constant prayer with God in answering this question. We have to be in constant prayer. Who do you say I am? Now, I want you to tell somebody next to you, who do you say you are? Who do you say you are? Now, nobody say that. I know somebody say, I'm a child of God. I follow Jesus Christ. I have the Holy Spirit on me. I shout. I sing. I praise God. I'm here. Y'all see me?
When you've done all you can, and it seems like it's never enough. And what do you say when your friends turn away and you're all alone, all alone? Tell me, what do you give when you're giving your all? Seems like you can't make it through. Well, you just stand when there's nothing left to do. You just stand, watch the Lord see you through. Yes, after you've done all you can, you just stand. Tell me, how do you handle the guilt of your past? Tell me, how do you deal with the shame? And how can you smile while your heart has been broken and filled with pain, filled with pain? Tell me, what do you give? Yes, when you're giving your all, yeah. Seems like you can't make it through. Child, you just stand.